right. So, yeah, this should be recorded now.
Okay.
I don't know why. For like 30 episodes, that never happened. And I think I'm probably got 3 in a row or something, but.
Andrew, what's up, man? This is Jake the Rake. Football's good. Yo, guess where I'm calling you from? You'll never guess. You are gonna poop. I'm calling from my mom's basement, not in Colorado anymore, but she got a place in Eugene. So still mom's basement, but she moved to Eugene so I could be closer to the pod. There's also a contractor situation involved where she needed to move closer for him to fix something. But and then there's, Jamie's here too. So it's permanent. The move is permanent. We are in the Willamette Valley, southern portion, right near the bean pod. So, I mean, we're going to be kicking it today. If you wanted to come over, you could even bring the bean pod with you. Things like, Becca and Jamie might be popping by. We can hang out in my mom's basement. And I don't want to mess up your scene. I know you guys got Baker on tonight and stuff, so that sounds pretty important to get those. I know you could take a show on the road, but to be in your studio, you probably want to do that. I don't want to mess up your scene and the flow. I know you keep that flow freaking tight, dude. So, regardless, don't be a stranger now. Bye.
All right, we're back.
Oh, man.
Yep. So things didn't necessarily work out with getting Scott on this week, but we'll get him on next week. And luckily, Jake the Rake moved to town and invited us over to his the party at his basement. And I'm surprised how many people are here for him. Just
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's we're kind of hanging out in the basement, but all throughout the backyard, he's got all kinds of tree folks. He must have already hooked up some contracting jobs.
Yeah. His mom's basement. And I don't know if he had built this bar since he moved already or what, or his mom already had this, but this is pretty sweet.
Yeah, no, this is really sweet. Yeah. I'm stoked he invited us. Yeah, like I said, we were planning on having, or I should say, like Jake said, we were planning on having Scott Baker on, but things didn't work out exactly like we wanted. We want to have the full crew and just hit the ground running with Scott because he's an awesome dude, and I really look forward to talking to him. That should be next week if all things wind up. So this week we're just doing a random episode. I guess before we get too far into it, I'm Andrew.
I'm Rob.
And Jamie.
And we're here doing our thing. I don't know, random episode. Should we start out with some stories from the field?
Sure. Yeah.
All right. We've been kind of hinting at the story of the hemlock removal from the coast for a little while now. Oh,
Nice.
here he is.
You guys want some meatloaf?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when we're all done, definitely.
Mom, the meatloaf. Take it when they're done.
Yeah. So Jake's real busy right now. He's running around hosting this moving party that he's got going on here. It's where it's at. Where Jake goes, the party follows.
Cool, that's so cool. You guys are getting to check out my mom's new spot.
Yeah. It's pretty sweet.
Usually I don't come above ground too much.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, come on back if you need a beer. Yeah, for sure.
No one worry
yeah,
about
yeah.
coming back here at all.
Yeah.
There's so many movers and like skilled tradesmen here.
Yeah. Yeah.
My mom was like, if you need like anything done, like our place is gonna be immaculate. You want an electrician, plumber, we got it all. Of course, Jamie's always the tree guy, so
Yeah, I do some of the trimming here for his mom pretty often.
Yeah.
wow, that's really awesome. You guys are here. That's rad.
Yeah, well, thanks for having us over, man.
There's a spare mic if you
if you
so
want to jump in,
inclined.
just tell us and we'll turn that mic on.
Really, I can't. Can I bring some chips over?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Nice.
Here's some headphones.
Oh wow.
Can you hear us?
Oh yeah, loud and clear.
Yeah.
We got Jake the Rake in person. Holy smokes.
Oh man, my spine's tingling. This is so exciting.
Yep. So, yeah, we were just getting into some stories from the field. I don't know if you got any good raking stories or you got want to tell us about the move or.
Oh wow, well the move was pretty epic. We came from Colorado to the Willamette Valley here.
So you want to get the mic about a fist away from your mouth.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, you got it. Thank you.
Well, yeah, the move was pretty epic. We're here in the South Willamette Valley now. It's quite a journey from Berthoud, Colorado, from our tumbleweed farm. But boy, I was like, I just can't get enough of the pod, and now you guys are here, and I'm here. It's just like my dream come true.
It's a beautiful thing, man. Our pod, but like your pod, we've got a freaking whole beanstalk going on here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and you're like Jack.
Dude. Yeah, just climbing. Just climbing.
Just keep climbing. Oh,
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I got a story from the field. I was working with Jamie a little this week since I've been around, and he hired me on a bit to do some raking. We had a big old, what was that? What kind of oak tree was that, Jamie?
Which one?
Oh, it was a northern red oak, you said, with the real big,
Oh.
with the real big leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we got to use this bucket that Rob was a great housewarming
yeah.
president. We got a
Nice.
big green bucket. So that was epic. We got to mess with that. We drilled some holes in it and made some big carriers out of the 12 mil old Samson Vortex climbing rope that he had.
Yeah.
So it's nice and fat. It felt good on my hands, but it's still a 2-person job if you're moving some wood chips around into doing an organic mulching, which is
Oh, yeah.
what Becca
Yeah.
was making us do. Like
Yeah.
all big heavy things.
Oh,
around and-
those are big buckets. I mean, what are they? 65 gallons?
At least, yeah.
Yes.
Well, maybe 60, yeah.
Yeah, they're no mess. 60 gallons of chips. That's a lot.
It was wood chips because we were using the chips from the pruning work, and
Yeah.
I mean we filled them up to the top, and both of us were like heave ho, like this is heavy oak chips.
Heavy
Yeah.
lodo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But the
Yeah.
fatter diameter rope helps like disperse the weight of the chips, on your hands.
Oh yeah.
If you were to use some skinny cordage.
Oh,
Yeah.
speaking of
Deep
chips,
cut
speaking
right
of chips.
through.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah, yeah.
My mom said to hand these chips are on your hands.
Oh, nice.
You guys want some
Oh, thank you.
jollies? Yeah, get some jollies.
Thank you.
Yeah, and there's meatloaf.
Jalapeno.
Oh,
There's meatloaf coming too. She said if
Oh, you're a great host. You're a great
Oh,
host.
man.
We're definitely enjoying the hospitality.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
good chips. Wood
Yeah.
chips.
I wonder how many jalapeno chips we could fit in one of those green buckets.
oh,
Well, it's probably a pretty easy equation to
Yeah.
realize how much.
About 60
know.
gallons.
Yeah. How much does that bag hold?
oh, I mean, what we got. So we could meet your farmer on the tater tracker at kettlebrand.com. Oh man, looking at 1 ounce is 1 serving, but there's 13 servings, so,
So it's
13
13 ounces.
Oh, yeah. And then
And
there's
just how many
28
ounces in a gallon, and then how many gallons.
How many of
28
these?
Well,
ounces in a gallon.
And then we could calculate the weight of all the jalapeno chips and
But I think my weight might go up a bit too from
So you
eating
can-
all the.
My guess would be about 140 bags.
Wow, that's
good
a lot.
guess.
A
Nice,
lot of
yeah.
jelly beans.
Yeah. Oh, how many jelly beans?
We'll go with that guess because I don't feel like doing the math. but
Yeah, no, I'm
Rob's
not.
right.
Yeah.
Good, good.
I like doing math in my head.
Yeah, nice.
Everybody's got a hobby. I like raking. So yeah, I've been like contract raking all across the country, and I feel like I finally hit my home base here. I've been trying to get my mom to move here for a while, and we're kind of tied together because of all our contractors. And she's like, "You always got a spot in my basement," and that's why I feel the most comfortable. Thanks for taking me in with open arms, you guys.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
And now-
likewise.
Great.
Now you're in the home of the big leaf maple, which was your favorite tree to
Yeah.
rake, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
We actually just went and saw an awesome one on the way here.
Yeah, so Jamie Becca and Jamie took me mini golfing today.
Oh,
And we went
nice.
to the Chip and Putt
Oh, nice.
by Roaring Rapids and took a bike ride. On the way back, we stopped by one of Jamie's favorite big leaf maple trees
Yeah.
Yeah.
by Autzen Stadium,
Yeah.
Yeah.
where the Ducks play.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's right by there, and oh boy, that's great structure.
What a
Oh my gosh.
specimen.
Fine. There was like there's a bunch of turds around too, which I'm not scared of. You just give them a little flick with the rake. I'm always packing a rake.
Nice, nice.
We just kind of cleared the area, you know.
Oh, yeah, that happens sometimes over there. We've used that tree for a couple different projects, and we found a couple different turds.
Yeah. From a couple different species.
yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty. I mean, it was a nice day out today, but it's been warm lately, so this one was pretty crustified.
Yeah.
Nice.
So just a quick little flick. and
Yeah, those are the best when
clean slate.
flicking. You know, you want the solid.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
man. Well, so what kind of prospects you gonna keep contract raking around here? You gonna settle down with one company? You think? What?
Man, I am just,
you know.
I can't barely sleep. I'm so excited. There's a couple different companies. I mean, Sperry's the best name in town. I
Oh,
want to
nice.
hang out with Rob. I know
Yeah.
he's got a lot of quality rakers on board already, but if I can get my foot in the door is all I'm trying to do. And just spend some quality time with some friends and fellow bean potters.
See,
Yeah.
my thing is, it's really challenging. I mean, it's really hard to actually train somebody how to rake. You see, there's a complex where people think they know what they're doing when it comes to raking.
Yeah.
And if you try and tell someone, "Hey, man, you're not raking that right," you know, I'd recommend you do it this way, they get offended. And so I'm not sure exactly how to, you know,
Approach it.
approach somebody that's new and doesn't know what they're doing when it comes to raking, and actually get them to be responsive and you know, accept the training.
So you're looking for someone that doesn't need any training is what I'm hearing.
Oh, well, that
I could just come on
Yeah.
and you could be like, I'll be on my own. Might not stay on the job site really well, and I might.
that's what they all say.
Well, the best way to teach them is to lead by example. And you know,
That's
one of the
true.
best ways to do that, we've talked about that, is if you get a badass contractor in, that's going to up the game of your whole field or your whole field crew, because they're going to share their tricks while they're working with you. You know, and that's why you got to treat your contract climber or rakers or contractors good. 'Cause you treat them good, they're going to share their tricks with you. You know.
And I just what really helps me as a contract climber from I've been all over the world contract raking, and what I usually do that works the best to blend in with the squad. I know everything's like really tight around people's
Yeah.
day to day you're working the same people every day, then you get this new guy in who thinks he's a hot raker, it's like, okay, well, slow down, buddy, we got our own thing going, here's how we
Yeah,
do things.
yeah.
And I try not to come in like on fire. Mostly I
Settle
just come in,
down.
I'm like, bring some snacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Snacks with-
Distract
and
them.
you're- Well, it's like, hey, I'm one of you guys. Here's some snacks, and
Start moving chips.
Share some food.
I'm moving chips.
Oh, nice, nice. That makes sense. That makes sense. You know, got to get on the same level, same playing field before you start throwing ideas around.
Yeah, break the ice with some chips.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could be like, hey, hold these chips, have a couple. Let me show you something I know about raking.
Yeah, and what's better to like watch the show than like a bag of chips?
Yeah,
And, like,
yeah.
wow.
You go to a movie, you get popcorn. You
Yeah.
go to see Jake rake, you get a bag of chips and enjoy the show.
Bag of chips, have a couple, and watch this.
Yeah. 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 Well, thank you so much for hosting us here.
Yeah,
Beautiful thing. This is a great basement. We're going to have to come back and do it again.
this is like the highlight of my life so far.
I've,
Nice.
I feel like we have found a home away from home, at this bar in your basement. I'm just saying.
Oh, wow.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is like
That's how comfortable we
Jamie
feel.
set all this up for us to just come here, and it was like this. There's like he gave us bicycles today. He's like, "Here, come and you're welcome." It's like my uncle's a plumber. Oh, here's my mom's dog. Do you want to meet Chunk?
Yeah, let's meet Chunk.
Come here, Chunk.
You got plenty of cord.
There's Chunky.
Junker.
Yeah.
Welcome to Oregon, Chunk.
Yep. Chunk's gonna be stoked when winter hits, and it ain't one of those Colorado winters. Nice. Oh, what a good dog.
There's Chunk's butt.
Yep. And Chunk found the chips
Chunk
too.
gets some chips.
Yeah.
He knows.
Yeah.
This will be Penny's favorite episode.
Oh, what a good dog.
Cool. You guys want to talk stories from the field?
Yeah. Yeah. So we started going into. We were just at the coast. Well, I guess what was that, like 3 weeks ago now? A month ago?
Yeah.
Man, that happened fast. And while we were there, we were at this beautiful property, just gorgeous giant trees, a tree fort or a platform, probably 70 feet up, overlooking the ocean and the forest. And part of the way that we were able to go there is he wanted a tree removed. And we're thinking, I mean, heck, we got a badass tree crew. We can take care of business. We show up, and we didn't know what tree it was at first. And so I think last time we talked about it on a podcast, we were like, it might be a big tree, might be this big one, might be this little one. We're not really sure. We'll figure that out tomorrow. Well,
Yeah, it was the bigger one.
it was the bigger one. It was a much bigger one. It was quite the project.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't too fat, but it was super tall with
Yeah.
like little taper. So I mean, it was big trunk wood like all the way up. How
Yeah.
tall do you think that was? I was the one climbing it. My initial shot was probably 100 feet. And then I probably kept going
Was it?
at least another 20 feet to my final tie-in.
Yeah.
It was 130, 140.
Yeah, that I was going to say about 140.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's always hard to say when you're in a forest setting because you get so many different trees of so many different heights, and it's hard to like pin down exactly. You don't have that scale of reference that you normally do when there's a building next to it
Yeah.
and a basketball hoop right there, and you can be like, all right, 5 of those basketball hoops is going to be 50 feet.
Oh, it's
You
cool.
know.
You count basketball hoops.
I count
That's
basketball hoops. Yep.
Yeah, you taught me that. That's kind of how I do it now.
Yeah. Basketball hoops, or if I reach up as high as I can, that's about 8 feet.
Yeah.
So, that's the other way I'll do it is I'll reach up and I'll touch, a branch and be like, all right, that branch is 8 feet. And then you just do the math from
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, I count basketball hoops now.
Yeah.
I remember doing tree inventory for the city.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once you tell like the height, the spread, the condition, the species, all that stuff. But yeah, basketball hoops for the height.
And there's
Who
all,
knows how wrong I was all the time.
dude, some of the, in the inventory, you'll be looking around and you'll get some random number that was put in, 15 years ago. You'll be like, how is it taller
Then
than it is now,
Yeah.
But they didn't know how to count basketball hoops apparently, So, but
yeah, so the tree, we're guessing about 140 foot. It was a hemlock, western hemlock, right? And
Yeah.
none of the branches were big. I could have easily like cut and thrown, I think, all but a couple, if that's how I wanted to do it. But it was no cleanup if we could get the brush into the forest,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So it's cleanup if it dropped it at the base of the tree. And we're all just hanging out, not wanting to do a lot of work. So we made the rigging more complicated than it needed to be. I could have just dropped everything,
yeah,
like all the brush. But we set up a controlled speed line to float it over a deck out into the woods, just so no one really had to do anything on the ground.
yeah.
Just run some ropes, and it goes all the way there. And we just wanted to have fun doing it. We love setting up cool rigging.
And we did it in a couple different ways. the first one didn't really work out like we planned. You know, and these things always happen, especially when you're getting overcomplicated. The rigging was fine, but just where we were anchoring it to and where this deck was, it came down. And we're going to be making a video of all this. So eventually you'll be able to go to our YouTube page. Jamie's put a lot of work into putting together a YouTube page, and hopefully soon we'll have a video on there of it.
Yeah.
Nice.
The issue we ran into is I suggested we put a pulley in another tree for the end of our speed line so it's lifted enough to float over the deck that we were floating it over. But we ended up setting the pulley way too high to start. And then I think we set it a little lower, and then we had to set it even lower,
Yeah.
you know, just to kind of really dial it in.
Well, and the problem that we ran into is when we set it higher, it didn't have enough of an angle for it to zip all the way to where we wanted it to. It would kind of bow down in the middle. And then if we set it too low, it would come down and it would hit the deck.
Yeah. So we had to find the right spot.
Yeah, we find the right spot, and that right spot existed. But as you go up with the speed line, the angle changes. And so that sweet spot got less and less sweet as we went along.
But then we realized we could just go to a different part of the woods and just do a straight up zip line. And then it was just smooth sailing.
Yeah, then we were cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet. Yeah, and that was the first time I got to work with Dakota also. So, yeah, talk about a badass on the lower. I mean, a badass all the way around.
Yeah.
But seeing that guy work a lower down line is a thing of beauty.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, Junkie Boy. You ready to go back up for the meatloaf? You check on it. Should be ready here pretty soon, I think, you guys. That's interesting you call it a lower down.
Yeah.
You know, where I'm from at the Tumbleweed Ranch, every company I contracted for, they call it a rigging line.
Yeah, you know,
Call-
potatoes.
Well, I think it's like
Well, we never called it a rigging line.
Yeah, no, I've heard it be called a rigging line before, but
We never called it that back in the day.
so one of the interesting things is, I mean, when we started was before the internet was a big thing, and people kind of, I think with the internet, a lot of ideas were, you know, you would get one name for something, consolidated. And so when we started, it was kind of, we were in our own little bubble. And so
It started with rope, and then it went to lowering line.
Yep.
Now it's rigging line.
yeah, and like a block and lower down line, or block and rigging line, you know. But I always say a pulley and a strap.
Yeah, I noticed that working with you. There was a lot of things. Like, I get what you were talking about, but I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's not what, you know, we called it.
Yeah.
Lower down was definitely one of them.
Yeah, and
Really?
there's all these like different dialects throughout. I mean,
funny 'cause we
even
still
even our
call 'em
little
lower downs in
country
Sperry.
of America.
Yeah.
I've never heard it called that anywhere else in the country before. I think it's very specific to South Willamette Valley.
We still
Yeah.
call
To
it
have
that in
like, oh,
Sperry.
grab the lower down, and since I've been here,
Yeah.
everyone's like, lower
Or
down this.
You guys also say
very
pick
low.
points, which I had never heard before.
Or
Yeah.
pick, yeah.
Yeah.
Talking
Anchor
about
or
your
pick.
tie-in or your rigging point.
Yeah.
Pick
Anchor or
points.
pick, yeah.
Yeah. And so I'll interchange them, but really when I think of a pick point is like, okay, that's where I'm going to lower down from.
Yeah.
And then a tie-in point is, you know, where I'm climbing from.
Okay.
But I catch myself all the time saying, okay, there's my pick point, but that's just my dyslexia coming out and me, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
mixing up. So not only am I dyslexic enough to mix up words, but then on top of it, I have a different vocabulary than a lot of people. So it gets real confusing working with me. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's interesting. I have numerical dyslexia, Andrew.
Oh,
I could
really?
like kind of relate. Like people tell me to show up at 9:15
Yeah.
High Street, and I'm showing up at 420 High Street. Like, I have no idea.
Yeah. I do that too. So I understand. Or like, I could have sworn I put $1,000 on this removal, but apparently you thought it was going to be $500. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is interesting. Anyways, not to go too far off on a tangent though.
But that is a cool point because, yeah, you guys do say stuff differently than I've always heard. I get what you're talking about, but I
Yeah.
bet that happens all over the place. Like, especially, I mean, you guys have been, how long has Sperry been in business?
33, 35 years,
Yeah,
something like that.
it's been a family
Yeah.
business. You guys
Yeah.
are making up your own terms for shit the whole
No,
time
for
as
sure,
it's
yeah.
growing.
And,
Now-
and it's still stuck. I mean, that's still what we call them lowdowns.
Yeah.
And is that I'd imagine that's what Doug calls them, and it's
Okay.
because we
That's
learned from
where I
Doug.
heard it. I
Yeah.
was like-
You know, so yeah,
I was like, you said what? A lower down?
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
and
okay, I get it. And then like after that, it just was a thing. I got so
Yeah.
I called it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I say it sometimes now too.
Well,
Lower down.
I don't want to be a buzzkill, but I just blew out my sandal.
Oh, your
Just
Chacos?
standing here. This is an intense podcast.
there's a lot of pacing in place in this
I
podcast.
wasn't even pacing. I just knocked my socks off. I'm so excited to be here.
Knocked your own socks off.
Popping
Wow.
chocos.
Popping chalks.
Wow.
Gorilla glue.
Yeah. Knocking socks and popping chalks.
Damn, this is intense, man.
Becca's
Oh,
here. There's a mic over here.
Yeah.
If you want to be in on it, we can find a spot.
Here, let's
Nice.
plug
Come on in.
I just lit some incense. My mom says if we get too crazy down here, we gotta light incense. So I lit some because my Choco blew off. We're gonna be in big trouble. She's like, "Your Choco blew, and I didn't even smell any incense." You're in big trouble, Jake.
That's a real party.
Nice.
Oh, so
Wow.
we have some meatless meatloaf. If anyone's interested,
Oh,
they're
nice.
plant-based meatloaf, but then there's also meat-based meatloaf.
The non.
There's
the-
impossible meatloaf or beyond meatloaf.
Yeah, that's with
Non-beef
mustard
meatloaf.
instead of the ketchup.
Yeah.
It's impossible to have meatloaf without ketchup.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm right
You
there
have it
with you.
Mustard.
Yeah.
Family,
yours on?
family
I don't
secret.
know.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your headphones on?
Yeah. There's.
Wow, where
Oh
did you-
yeah. No.
where
Now
did you-
everything's working. Cool. Hey.
Okay.
Where did you get all these headphones from, Andrew?
Oh, you know,
The guitar store.
around. Yeah.
I hope I-
Yeah.
I feel like I'm about to sing a karaoke song.
Feel free
Oh, yeah.
if you want. I could put a beat on.
Mama.
It's not unusual to be. Like,
Cool. So we have a special guest, Jake the Rake.
Yeah.
We do.
oh, I feel special to be here. That's for sure.
Wow.
Um,
Have you guys talked about? Have you had a safety conversation yet?
No.
No.
No
yeah,
stories from the field.
Well, we've kind of been, you know, going through stories and then running off on tangents, and then
Gotcha.
yeah, we're partway through the hemlock removal in at the coast actually.
Right.
Then we got caught up because I started calling them lower down lines and
Yeah,
instead of
just
raking lines.
wrenching
Ah.
the gears.
Yeah, that really confused things.
Wow.
Yeah.
Way to go, Andrew.
Yeah. It's been pretty hot.
Good one.
Hot topics
I
at the
bl- I
podcast.
blew out a sandal.
Yeah.
Wow, a lot of stuff has happened since I was out there playing cornhole.
There's a lot of chip talk.
So Becca
Yeah.
does this interesting thing where she says the cornhole every time she throws.
Do you do that?
Yeah, I mean that's how you lose.
How do you say it though?
Cornhole or something like that. Sometimes like cornhole
Yeah, that's
with a
what I would
question
think.
mark at the end.
It messed me up for.
Cornholio.
There we go. Yeah.
It was like distracting at first. Then I started trying it, and like the first couple times, it was like way off. Like went into the neighbor's yard, and then it's like cornhole, and then one of them it just went in.
I'm
Oh
telling you.
man, I'm in Becca's zone.
Oh, we gotta
like,
play
There's something
cornhole
to
with
it.
the throw ball.
cornhole.
Oh man,
With the throw ball.
Whoa,
Oh
we
my
could do, like,
God, that's
100
what I'm
foot
doing
field.
wrong.
that's a game.
Oh yeah.
Oh
The
man.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a
Oh,
throw ball
man.
cornhole competition. 2 trees,
Yeah.
like
Are you
50
kidding?
feet or 100 feet apart, with
Oh.
with hula hoops up in them.
Are you serious?
I
Yeah.
think someone holds the hula hoop, so there's that little risk factor involved.
yeah.
Wow, I
little bit of
love
danger.
Yeah, we're coming up with something right now.
That's what
What
makes
do you-
it
what do-
fun.
What's it called?
Throw hole.
What did you call it, Rob?
Throw ball cornhole.
Throw
Throw
ball.
ball.
I think throw hole
cornhole.
is. I think.
Throw hole.
Cornhole.
yeah.
That sounds
Cornball. Wait, no.
cornball. Don't get too close to the cornballer.
This is some
It's
cornball
more
throw
than-
hole right here.
Happy birthday to you. No,
Yes,
that's great. I'm gonna start saying cornhole every time I shoot.
Your throw ball.
Perfect.
Yeah, when I shoot my throw ball,
Yeah.
you'll
Instead of
know
saying
I'm making a
throwing
shot because
or
you'll just hear
stand
me go,
clear.
cornhole.
Cornhole.
I won't say headache, I'll say cornhole.
No stand clear of throwing. It's now like
That's
throw hole.
ridiculous. Wow.
All the neighbors will be sure to.
I bet it would work at competitions if you explain to the judge, like, this is for stand clear. Because if you have that, like, your jargon at Sperry, like, this is
Yeah,
the
this
lower
is
down
my-
line. If
this
you're
is-
like, cornhole means stand clear.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is our local dialect.
Yeah, don't discriminate against me.
Right. It's merely a meeting people where they're at.
Yeah.
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 So you could yell cornhole. Do
Love
the
it.
throw line event.
Cornhole. So I do have if you're in the middle of the story, please continue.
Seems like we're always in the
Yeah,
middle.
not
of it.
much left to it.
Well, yeah. Part 1 was getting to where we're at, and we can pick it up from there.
I did
We
have
just dialed in the rigging and then ended up being just a simple speed line into the woods. We just lowered the top, and then we were negative rigging chunks of wood.
And we
And at one
we
point-
put that pulley through its paces.
Yeah, at one point we had a smaller spruce that needed to be removed, so we tip tied a whole tree to the spar that I was climbing on.
Yeah, that was pretty wild.
Didn't you guys use a reeve or something, like some kind of really complicated English reeve rigging?
We talked about doing that, but I don't think we got that complicated. We just kind of tip tied it, and then we tied the butt off in a way so that it couldn't come back and get Corey.
Yeah.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah. I don't know. That was mostly it. Dakota was a beast on the ropes. It was a ton of
yeah.
fun. It
Dude,
was
he-
cool having everyone there hanging out.
Yeah, it was like these big, what were they, 6-8 foot chunks of wood.
Yeah.
You know, and they were, 16-inch diameter.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good sized chunks of wood. And he was just letting them fly and just perfectly till they were like 6 inches off the ground, they'd stop.
Yeah.
Slowly lower the whole time. And just perfect on the lower down. And then we just kind of push them out of the way, lowering them down. It was a lot of fun. It was me, Corey, and Dan, and then Dakota on the lower down. And so we had it perfect where the three of us would just push this giant chunk of wood, and Dakota would be lowering it just perfectly to kind of move it off to the side and then drop it. Just,
And
it was,
this was all pro bono, huh?
Yeah.
yeah,
You guys are so cool, man. I mean, to do this stuff just for fun,
yeah.
that really shows the passion and you guys really thanks for letting me be part of this bean pod because I feel like my passion is there.
Yeah,
But
level up.
obviously our technical skill levels are in a different set. But I appreciate what you guys do.
It's
And
all
to just
teamwork,
do it
brother.
for fun. It seems so hard and difficult, but to just
I've been appreciating your yard and how healthy your plants are, and all the different kind
not
of
yet.
new trees you're putting in. And,
oh
you know,
nice.
Yeah, your place is looking good for
Oh,
sure.
cool. Well, we
Yeah.
just got here earlier this morning. This is whatever the plumber did before. Jamie set everything up. I'm not sure.
Stroke of luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't that your mom's nickname for Jamie?
I don't know. She uses words like fate more or like destiny.
Wow.
Yeah. Maybe I misheard her.
Your mom is so woke.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, we're talking about you. The meatloaf.
Is she gonna bring ketchup with that meatloaf?
Well, she said ketchup if you want the real meatloaf, or if you want fake meatloaf, she could bring mustard.
Yeah.
Ah, that'd be better.
You down with mustard meatloaf?
In meatloaf?
Yeah, I'd take mustard
But
on
it's
my
not
meatloaf.
real meat either, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like plant-based meatloaf.
I'll take
It
mustard
sounds
on my
impossible
plant
to
loaf.
me.
Don't know. It's possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, plant loaf
Yeah.
Possible meatloaf.
calls for mustard.
All right. Guess you'll take an impossible, Mom.
Your mother's a legend, Jake.
Yeah.
What a pleasure. I do have one thing that I wanted to insert into this conversation, which is that if you are trying to take the scabbard off of a saw, make sure that the scabbard doesn't have any holes in it before you take it off the saw, because you could cut the fuck out of your finger.
Oh.
Yeah.
Chainsaw, handsaw.
Yeah.
Chainsaw.
Chainsaw. Sorry,
yeah.
I should have specified. Scabbard on a chainsaw, no matter how large or small.
Yeah.
If you're just like, gotcha, ready
Do you want
to.
me to lift this up a little bit more?
Oh well, whatever. I'm used to crouching. I'm
Crouching in the corner.
I'm just like trolling it.
Do you think maybe interesting safety point. I don't
Sure,
work around
sure.
chainsaws that much, and I don't like to have a scabbard on my rakes at all. I
Yeah,
do like to
no.
have them in a sheath so I can pull them out. You know that you guys are familiar with the rake quiver, but do you think we should even put scabbards on chainsaws? And how is your chainsaw storage? Do you have a box in the truck? Are they scattered about?
Those are good questions,
I like
Jake.
putting the scabbards on. I just
Yeah.
feel like the chain's in there dinging up itself and other things. You know,
Naturally, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
a
think-
box? What's the box made out of?
So with for my personal chainsaws, I only have a couple of them because I'm a small time operation. So I built a little bench that fits into a cupboard that has little slots in it, so I can
out of wood.
out of wood. Yeah, so I just put the chainsaw bars down into those slots, and then they just sit right there.
So no scabbard, just straight in the.
So no scabbard if they're in those things, but if I've got more chainsaws now than fit in my little setup.
Yeah.
So if I just have them sitting around the shop, there's a couple that I have just right next to that cupboard, and I put the scabbard on those ones.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. What's your setup like, Rob?
It goes both ways. You know, sometimes they
My mom says that a lot.
cover. Yeah, you know, scabbard, no scabbard.
Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta
Depends
go.
on the circumstance. I don't know.
To scabbard or not to scabbard? That is the question.
Oh, jeez.
So in the chip truck, you have a box. If there's a box, you just throw them all in.
Generally,
there.
there's no scabbards on
generally
them.
no scabbard,
Sometimes there are.
But you have, at least back in the day when I was with Sperry, there was pieces of wood on the bottom of the box. So as you put the chainsaw in there, the
gonna
bar was on wood and it wasn't on the metal box. Yeah, exactly.
We do rubber, carpet, wood, all kinds of stuff to just pad our toolboxes. But I think that some people prefer to, other people don't. I'm pretty okay with either way.
Yeah, well, that's just really
Yeah.
interesting. What Becca brought up, that like maybe it's more hazardous to take the scabbard off than it is to just.
Well,
pull
I
the
don't, I
chainsaw
don't
out of the
necessarily
box
think
and-
that it should be that way. I think scabbards are awesome. It keeps your chain better for longer. It keeps your bar fresh. They come with scabbards for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Well,
I think like anybody that puts a saw away without the scabbard on it when there is a scabbard available for it is like
well, I remember I
maybe
was-
not seizing an advantage that is,
Yeah, or if there's not this system in place where like throw it on the rubber mat in
Right.
the box.
I
Yeah.
was
Right.
working for someone
However-
long time ago, and I was just doing maintenance work around his house, and I was using his tools. He had an extension chainsaw with a scabbard. It was a new tool. We worked together, and then at the end of the day, we were kind of wrapping up, putting the tools away, and I grabbed the scabbard and put it back on the saw, and he was like, "That's what I want to see." He's like, "That you're on it, man. Like right on." You know, so I mean, yeah, there's a certain amount of like, yeah, you take the extra step to protect the tool, protect yourself. That's cool. At the same time, I mean, I'm pretty okay either way, personally.
yeah.
I don't personally have scabbards on my chainsaws that are at my house.
I can see that being a thing too now that I have this fresh cut on my finger.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
more probably just out of like not really taking the time to follow through with the safety of it. And I think that in general, most things that are like that are worth following through with the time that it takes.
Yeah.
But you can have an argument both ways.
I've
Yeah.
seen some of my contract raking on the East Coast. I saw some guys climbing on their 200s, their climbing saws with the scabbard
Yeah.
on.
I've seen that too.
Yeah.
They'll have like a lighter leash, kind of retractable.
Yeah.
Leash
Interesting.
thing.
And it
connected
seemed
to it.
like more trouble than it was worth,
Yeah.
but at the same time, they weren't fiddling with it too
Interesting.
much. But it just seemed like another bulky item to have up there, and I don't look up too much.
In a lot of ways, I think
But-
I'd rather have a little scabbard for my pull saw
Oh,
while I'm
totally,
climbing than
totally.
Yeah,
my
yeah,
chainsaw.
yeah.
So that's like with
Totally.
the silky pole saws come with that scabbard that you
Yeah.
put on them.
Oh yeah, you guys were using that the other day. That looked pretty
Nice.
sick.
Yeah, that it's pretty nice having a scabbard on the pole saw. I
Yeah.
like that
Peace of mind.
at the city we have that.
Yeah.
So we'll hang it in the boom truck, or you know, if you're, you know, put it in the boom truck with, you know, in the bucket with you,
Yeah,
having that scabbard is kind of nice to have it on there.
definitely.
You know, so there's something to say for the pole saw, especially when the blade folds down. I kind of like having the scabbard because you have something to grab onto to fold it up and down.
Oh, nice.
But I, you know, and hey, if you're used to putting a scabbard on your chainsaw while you're climbing in the tree, and that's how you do it, all the more power. I'm not telling anybody what to do. It just seems like that would be another step that, I mean, I've never had a problem with the chain catching my leg or anything like that. And I'd imagine that's why you're putting on the scabbard, you know, so somebody probably has, you know, it's probably been a thing for somebody.
I have like miscalculated a swing before and gotten pretty close to my base tie. And you think like that's the sharpest thing on you if you don't have.
Yeah.
And if you're swinging your full weight in your line and you get close to your base tie, that could be issues.
I mean, in all actual, I mean, the way that I think about it when it comes down to this kind of point in the conversation where you're like, should it or should it not be something that people do? How many times has it been an issue? I would imagine.
No, I don't do it.
It's a 2-footer.
I would imagine
It's 2
that
feet.
if it was something that had a lot of injuries involved with, that it would be an OSHA thing.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, I don't think that it's an OSHA
No.
regulation to do it. So if it was something where there was a lot of injuries involved with it, then OSHA would make it mandatory for people to have scabbards on their saws, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But it's probably also just a comfort level. You know, if you've were trained to do it that way and that's how you've always done it, then you probably just feel more comfortable having that on there. And hey, again, if that's what you do, you know, if that's what makes you feel comfortable in the tree, run with it.
Yeah, I think my point here is like what it comes down to for me is like scabbard or no scabbard. If you do happen to use it, make sure that when you're taking it off, you take it off in such a way that you're not gonna
Yeah. So,
cut your fingers.
Was
And that
it-
because
was it a
there's
scabbard?
hole- There's a
Yeah.
hole in the scabbard?
There was just a hole in the scabbard because of if you put the scabbard on and take it off so many times,
The teeth wore
naturally,
through.
like the
Yeah.
teeth will like create a divot or like some, you know, you just it gets banged around in a truck or whatever, you know,
Yeah.
that shit happens. So
Or just wear it on and off.
yeah,
and on and
it
off,
happens. I mean, it's a little piece of plastic that's pretty thin compared to how sharp
Yeah.
the chain is.
Hopefully
So
it's sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get that with hand saws if you have a leather scabbard.
exactly.
You know, I've had leather scabbards that I used for years, pulling it in and out, and next thing you know, the scabbard doesn't quite protect
Or-
like it was. And if you
The
grab it
plastic
to
ones
pull
too.
it,
Plastic
Yeah.
ones too, though, like the teeth will get stuck.
yep. And
After
I've,
about
I've
5
cut
years,
myself.
You get about 2 inches down on your scabbard.
That's when you duct tape it.
And then you duct tape it.
So my question is like, how can you hold a scabbard? If you're going to use a scabbard, what's the safest way to hold it to remove it from a chainsaw
Oh, that's a
bar?
good
There's a
question.
little.
You know,
Yeah,
Depends on
because
the
what I was
scabbard.
doing was I was holding it like, you know, like
What kind of scabbard was it? What kind of chainsaw was it?
it was a Still 200.
the 201s, there's this
yeah,
little
the-
like tab on the top
Yeah.
where you like could put, I don't know what the heck it's for actually, but you can grab it there and pull it
Same
out.
with
That's
the
probably what it's
150s,
for.
yeah.
That's
There
for
was
how
that
they
tab.
climb with them. is
Oh.
they
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
go in
yeah,
there
yeah.
And it stays on pretty tight, but you could put it
Yeah.
on your lanyard.
Yeah.
and with
So it
on.
was that exact saw, and I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It does have that
Or
like
from the
little
front.
small. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
or
pull it from the
I
front.
I would even say from the top, because if you think about the way the teeth are,
Oh,
if you
yeah.
grab it from the
True.
bottom and pull, you're pulling against the cutting edge of
and
the
that's
teeth.
what happened.
And if you pull from the top, you might not be pulling from as sharp of a spot.
Yeah.
Also,
To be clear for those who can't see, I got the cut on my middle finger on my left hand, on like the gripping part of my middle finger. So it
how,
was
how old's that bandage there? Maybe we need a new bandage. on it.
Yeah.
shut up.
Just saying, my mom has an awesome first aid kit.
Does she
She'll
have
fix you
Hello
right up.
Kitty band-aids?
She has jalapeno band-aids.
Okay. I'm
They heal
intrigued.
you up very-
I'm
very-
intrigued.
It coagulates very quick. She's all into natural healing, and she has a shaman.
Wow, your mom's a Renaissance
could-
woman.
She could hook you up. She always has a guy for everything.
All right. Well, I'm thinking it might be time to go check out this first aid kit. Maybe take a beer break. We're at about 44 minutes in right now.
Okay.
We want to take a
Let's
break
do
at
this.
45 minutes. So yeah, we'll be back in a second.
All right.
All right, we're back. Yeah. So trying to figure out where we were, and I can't remember.
My mom sent a housewarming plant over.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah.
We got meatloaf and a plant.
Little decor, background decor.
Yep. She said it's called a say hello, Fern.
Right on. Well, Becca's out. Rob, we lost him somewhere into the party,
MIA.
but Lacey's here. So welcome, Lacey.
Thank you.
And Jamie, you said you had a story or something to kick us off.
Yeah, I saw something on Instagram. It was these people set up a controlled speed line, and they used the chipper winch as the speed line.
Okay.
And that's fine. Like, I've done that before, and it works. But the way they did it was this huge log and just, like, totally dropped it into a tensioned, like, chipper winch and just shock load the whole thing. It was pretty ugly for me to watch. You know, it was tough to watch.
Yeah.
And so I look at the comments, and I'm like, oh, people are going to be tearing apart for this. But all the comments were, I can't believe you would take up all that time to set up that rigging. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, it was all about how complicated that rigging system was and how much time it took to set up. So I wanted to talk about it because yesterday, I did a catalpa removal in between two houses, and there was a fence that ran in between the two houses, and then the gates were out front, right? So there's like a T around the tree of fences.
Yeah.
And we needed to get it into this driveway. So I just lowered a few branches out and realized it's just a huge pain in the ass for the people on the ground to try to get it over the fence. So I was like, okay, I'm going to set up a controlled speed line. And all it took was me to tie a running bowline around the tree with another rope. Boom, I got a controlled speed line set up.
Yeah.
It took nothing. Everyone was so much happier, and the job went way smoother. And I just, even people I know were on that thread. Like, I can't believe you took the time to set that up. This is ridiculous. Just chunk it out, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think sometimes
It's more
It
fun.
depends on it.
it
depends
well,
on the
one,
job.
yeah, it's way more fun to build a system like that. But I think for people, if you're not familiar with the concept, it looks like a whole lot more. You know,
That's true.
they're not thinking like, oh, it's just a running bowling on an extra rope.
That's
Yeah.
true. A controlled speed line was like magic to me until I actually like set it up myself.
Yeah.
And then it's literally a rigging rope, a lower down, right? A block and a
yeah.
pulley and a rope,
Yeah.
and then a running bowline with another rope above it. And then I use the hitch climber pulley as like my rigging hub. So that'll be on the speed line with the lower down kind of hauling back the load.
Yeah,
as
that's a
it goes
great way to
over.
do it. I love those hitch climber pulleys for the retrievable speed
Yeah.
lines.
Took no time at all. Becca even made one thing. I was like, is this working good for you guys, or should I go back to just lowering it? And she's like, you know, if it's more setup to do the speed line thing, I was like, here's the setup. And I just like put a loopy around a branch. I was like, there we go. Like,
Yeah.
that's it. So super easy. And it makes it easy for everyone.
But even when you have a situation where you might have to take extra time to do it, but in the grand scheme of thing, it's less wear and tear on your body,
Yeah.
worth it.
Yeah.
Anyway, how long was it when you set up, was it the ash tree at the neighbor's house? Well, Jamie was on that job. The one that was like hanging over, and if anything hit that roof, it would have just torched the neighbor's roof. And I mean, I feel like that was like a 2.5 hour
Well, and
rigging
that
setup.
was a pretty complex setup because we ran a whole nother line to create a floating pick from the fir to the maple.
A floating rigging point.
Yeah.
He said pick.
Or,
A
sorry,
rigging
yeah.
point.
Yeah, a floating rigging point. You know, by running the line between two trees that were taller than the one I was removing, and then putting an alpine butterfly and a pulley connected, because the tree leaned all the way over this neighbor's roof, and it had those tile roofs, so there's no spot to lower it straight down. So we're able to. Then Jamie was able to put tension on the line, and we were pulling these chunks back over. And that was, I mean, that's about as much time as you're going to take setting up a rigging system, I think.
But the tree came down quick. It was faster than if you
Yeah.
tried to gone up there and like put like lower little pieces down. If we could even get like the leverage to get it over the
Just
fence.
toss everything.
Exactly. Yeah, you would have to like toss like 2 foot long little branches and things. So I mean, there's a perfect example that even though yes, it did take a really long time to rig. In my opinion, it made the job go a lot faster. So it's like, I don't know. It all depends.
Yeah, it all depends on the job. But
Well, and
my big gripe with that was like all the comments were about how the rigging was super complicated and hard to set up. Not that they like executed it terribly.
Yeah, exactly. Like the
And-
point of the video, really. Like,
and I think what sent us down the tangent is once you learn how to set it up and you learn how easy it is, then you're not going to think of it as this big complicated setup. You're going to think of it as just, tying a bowline around a tree and having someone send up an extra rope.
Yeah, and as an outsider, like just as a raking specialist, like looking at, I'm fascinated by all of the physics involved with everything that you guys are above ground are doing. I go to see my friends in like Modern Arb and Happy Little Tree Care doing their thing on Instagram, and someone like is like, why would you do that? And it's not necessarily on your stuff because you're not doing like really things that people need to figure out. You explain it and everything, but you get these like some of the feeds where like there's a thing where it's like this big giant thing and everyone has a chance to comment on it. The first thing people comment on is like, oh my gosh, like why would you make it so complicated?
Yeah.
Like I don't know, like are you really making it complicated, or is it just like the way people do things, and that's
Yeah.
you're putting it out there into the universe, and if you can't be cool with like it's just haters be hating.
Yeah. And sometimes, okay, maybe you're complicating setting up the rigging, but it's making the rest of the job less complicated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A
So
little give and take.
that's a good point, because if you're looking at a video of one branch coming down, well, that would be extremely complicated to rig that one branch. But if you just set up a system that you can rig the whole tree out of, and you might not be putting a video of a whole removal on there, it might not be a 3-hour video on there. For every one of those, it's going to be that much more efficient, which will make up for the time of setting up this whole system.
in closing, worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. In closing, yeah, it was worth it. Yeah.
And
But-
people on comments, take it down a couple notches. It's okay.
Yeah.
And
Maybe-
recognize the fail.
Yeah,
The point
or-
of the
or
video
maybe
being
try
on.
to figure out something new and learn something.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Refill
I mean,
your brain.
And there we are. It's also the attitude of the person.
I don't want to learn anything new.
Yeah.
That's
I
cool.
already know everything. The way I do it is the best way to do it.
Whatever you're pitching to me is overly complicated.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I already know how to rake really well, but then all of a sudden I got the freaking razorback thrown to me, and I'm like, oh man, next level. Like just figure out the next level. There's next levels out there we have to get to.
Oh, Becca would want me to tell this story. I think she mentioned it to me earlier. So today we went and it was a little bit of clearance on a service drop to a house, trying to get 5 feet of clearance around it. And I had 3 lengths on a pole pruner.
Nice.
So 3 8-foot sections.
Yes.
And the thing was just barely out of reach. And I'm not sure if they told you, but we broke a razorback.
What?
Oh.
I think that the red handle piece of it is broken off, right? But anyway, I used that
Putting this
as
thing
my
through its
tiny
paces.
little extension for the pole pruner. I shoved it into the poles
Nice.
so I could have a little 1 foot extra reach.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Is
So
there
I had-
nothing the Razorback can't do?
I think
Wow.
Beck has a picture. I have 3 lengths with a rake hanging out the
Oh.
bottom. of the thing,
Get out
and
of
then I could
frickin'
rake the
town.
branch away as soon as it got
No.
to the ground.
No.
Please tell me you have video of
Is
that
there
part.
footage?
Raking and pruning at the same time?
She
you
got a
get
picture,
footage?
I think, for
A
sure.
picture?
Yeah.
No
It's a
footage?
runer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is this
Or a
black
prank.
magic?
A
Yeah.
runer.
Yeah,
a
it was
prank.
hilarious.
Great.
Oh, man.
Epic.
She'd mentioned that. I think she wanted to tell that story. But
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
You know what?
I can't believe all
Becca,
that
you should have stayed.
No, dude.
You should have stayed for the part 2.
Not
Oh.
leaving for Tacoma, Fiji on her bike.
Mom, make some more meatloaf. Becca's got a story.
Now you gave us a Razorback. We have that. That's our next level rake.
Yeah.
Like
apparently it's breakable, so it's cool to put these things through their paces. You know,
Yeah.
we got the Jamie got the big green bucket. You know, we've been rocking that thing. Seems invincible.
Looks tough.
Yeah.
Looks tough.
is it a circular
It takes a
one?
while to break
It's
those.
like this circle.
Yeah, the
This-
brute's
Yeah.
like this.
No, it's the green buckets that Sperry has.
Oh, okay.
You know
But-
those big green
Yeah, I
buckets?
do. They don't have wheels though, do they?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
So for the shorter people like me who love a good.
It's a bulky item.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
We have one that is probably holds about as much as a brute, but it's got wheels on it. And, you know,
Wow.
yeah, and so you
And a
can kind
handle
of
so I can hork it up onto the back of the truck because we had one that was a bigger one that was thicker like the brute ones, and we had this really, really huge hedge job that was all along a sidewalk. So
Yeah, Jamie was there for that
yeah,
one.
Jamie was there for one of the one. Did we have him for 1 or 2 days of it? 'Cause it took us 3
I
days.
think
to do
I
it.
think it was a month.
A
Yeah.
2-day hedger.
Oh,
think it was a
no,
month.
no.
No.
It was a
Well, no,
probably
we scheduled 5 weekends for it, but we only
yeah,
did
it was probably
3.
5-day.
Oh my goodness.
Well, that was that one section.
Oh,
There
so
was
I'm
3
thinking of- Yeah,
sections,
3 different times.
and so it was
yeah.
probably 6 or 7 days.
Arborvitae.
Yeah.
Western-
Arborvitae.
Arborvitae.
Yeah,
my
that had
God.
been storm damaged and then not fully repaired, so that as you're cutting into it, like things are springing up
Oh
weird.
my God,
It
that's
was
like a raker's worst.
it was a
Because you
hedger's
think-
worst nightmare too.
I mean, I'm sure it's hard for you guys, but raking is especially difficult. And there's like this mental part of it too, where I'm like you guys have this endless hedge. I know it's like super hard. You have 3 days, blah, blah, blah. But raking, you're like staring at each individual little feathery needle that comes off of there. And you like think you got it, and then another top comes down. You're like, I thought you were done with this section. I just cleaned it up. Don't drop anything else. The hedge is fine. Don't try to level it off again. And they come back again. You have this pristine area all cleaned up, and they come back and they're like, "Oh, I need to do it just a little bit better," and like
Just round the
level it
edge
out.
out.
And I like just clean that up, man.
No, see, that's why every time they were finishing a section, I was like, "Are you done? Did you do the sides? Did you do the top?" And if they're like, "Well, I might touch the," I'm not doing
See,
it.
this is
I'm not
where
picking it
this is
up.
where the contract part of contract raking comes in quite handy lately. I think this litigation, we might need to draw some actual formal letters up, because I am not working for you guys again.
No, especially not
Something
for
in
that
writing,
sort of
like
thing.
you said, you're done with this section. It's freaking done. I don't care what the client says.
No, not at all.
There's
no,
a
no.
two pass clause in this contract.
You've gone over it twice. Move along to the next section. We have like 40 more to go. We need to stop. But we had one of those trash bins, and by the end of the day, I'm of course getting exhausted dragging it down because you can't park on the road. You can park on a side road, and it was like 1,000 feet long hedge section. The middle one was, and so I actually managed to, by the end, because I was dragging it along the sidewalk, completely just bore a hole in the bottom.
Yeah.
I destroyed it because it was just shaving off the trash can
Yeah.
like for days of
That
dragging it
sounds
back
like
and
a-
forth.
Doozy.
It was a
Yeah.
great trash can, though. I'm just gonna say it held up
Yeah.
really well to abuse.
But then we got the wheels.
Then we got the wheels.
Yeah.
We next leveled it because Sandy Pack would not appreciate us using their refuse bins.
Yeah.
See, and some of these people in the comments section would be like, "Oh my God, my mind is blown. I can't think about wheels. Like, why don't you
Too
just hoof it and be like this Neanderthal and put it on your back and dump it over the cliff?"
Yeah.
Who needs wheels? Wheels are for suckers.
This kind of makes me think of something. When a job's going on and there's always a mess to be made, and to be cleaned up. Like me personally, I'm always like, I want to keep shit cleaned up as I go.
Yeah.
Like the whole time. I've had people, I'm like, hey, let's grab a rake and do that. And they're like, well, it's just gonna get messy again. I'm like, well, it's going to be a gigantic shit mess at the end of the job.
Yeah.
But if you keep up on it and there's nothing to do right now, then it's not so bad.
It all
Yeah,
needs to
clean
be
work
picked
site.
up.
Yeah, it all
Yeah,
wants for
but I've
picking
heard, like,
up.
Especially
So
in
many
front of the
people
chipper
say
is
that.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no doubt,
Yeah.
right?
That's a safety thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt.
But have you guys heard that? Like, oh, it's going to keep being messy. Like, why would I clean it up? It's like, no, just
Yeah.
like,
Or if you're coming back the next day,
yeah. It's
like,
nice
oh, we
to be
don't have
all
to clean
wrapped up.
everything out. We could just leave everything laid out here. Like, how about we get to a stopping point?
But
and wrap it up?
Yeah, until a client like trips over it and then they sue you because they're like, I know it was in the middle of the yard and I could blatantly see this giant pile of
That's
branches,
another
but
point.
I felt like walking through it
Yeah.
because that was the area of my yard I like to walk in, and you did not rake it up.
Just to have a tidy job site in general is why you would need to hire a contract raker.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like I will tidy that thing up. Like I will tuck you into bed with a bed of leaves.
Like we would not know that a tree thing happened because you would clean it up so well.
And all of a sudden you're getting charged for like double overtime hours from Jake the Rake just because I've taken so much time. And it's expensive to have me around. So
Extracurricular raking.
Expensive, but worth it.
Worth it.
Yeah.
the client's always happy.
Yeah.
Like it was a bit creepy, but he tucked me in with a bed of
Yes.
leaves.
Yeah.
Just imagine two little rakes like tucking someone in.
Like
Raking some
those
leaves up
back
over
scratchers. Just to sleepy, like ASMR stuff, like
Yeah.
soothing right through your hair a little bit. Rake hair brushing.
That's interesting. Becca's gone now, so we could talk about her, right?
Sweet.
She's getting a little witchy lately.
Okay.
Like cackling or riding
There's some
brooms.
cacklings and
Both.
little this.
Yo,
little
I
that,
saw a video.
But she is getting into brooms lately. And there's this new broom called the Better Broom that she's like trying to push on me, and I'm like trying to be open minded about it. It's called the Better Broom. It's like a broom and a rake. So it's a little straw, super stiff, like trying not to run the blower as much. So this broom rake she got it at this local place called Down to Earth. I don't know. It seems like people like it. It pacifies people for not using the blower.
Interesting.
It's like multi-use thing.
Yeah.
Is it the one that looks like a bunch of sticks put together?
It looks like a classic witch's brew.
Yeah, like did she bring that to the coast? Why do I feel like I've seen that
I brought
somewhere?
it to the
You
coast.
brought it to the coast. Okay, I know I saw it because I remember I saw it and I was just like, okay, did we just transport back to like Little House on the Prairie?
No,
Are we
she-
in the 1800s?
Becca's
Are you
also,
gonna
like-
clean my dirt floor?
She's also like, give me an eye of a newt and try this rake out.
Yeah, no, it is, and she's like in the, I don't know,
She's
blood of
collecting
a virgin
feathers and
goat or something. There's
feathers and lichen. She like gathers all this stuff.
and like sticks it on the rake and
Well, I don't know what she does with it.
incantations over it.
Yeah.
Something.
So we've been using it. I don't know. It's,
you like it?
Just this past couple days since I've been here, she's like, try my rake out. It's like a broom and a rake. I'm like,
Rake.
whoa. I'm kind of
Yeah.
a purist. So like, I love the broom idea because I hate a frickin' blower. Oh my God. Like if I hear there's always a blower in the distance somewhere and I'm like trying to listen to the podcast. I don't exactly have noise canceling headphones. I mean, this is some primo technology. I'm not used to this, but
Just get this for your Walkman.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh.
But so it makes a funny sound too when you use the rake broom thing. It's like whoosh, 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 whoosh. But it's not like that overbearing blower sound.
Yeah.
Have you
I remember a
used an
job-
electric blower?
No.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's amazing how
Very
quiet
nice.
yeah.
how
have one?
quiet that. Yeah. Got the little handheld Husky electric blower, and
Almost
Yeah.
sounds like a quiet vacuum.
Yeah,
yeah,
Okay. Does it blow and it sucks, or is it just blow?
it just blows.
yeah,
But it blows well.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I love it, and it's lighter than the gas one. And I don't have to like hork on it till you go
No
going, and it doesn't smell.
fumes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have the brrr vibration of a blower.
And the battery interchanges with all their other Husky gear, like with our electric chainsaw.
And it starts every time. You know.
Starts
like-
every
yeah,
time,
yeah, you
yeah.
press the
Don't
button.
mess with the rotator cuff or-
Yeah, no, I understand your dislike for blowers, but I think it'd be worth looking into.
The electric.
Yeah, the electric is changing the game. It might change the raking game as well.
I mean, not the rake itself.
I
I
sure
mean,
hope
it's,
so.
I feel like there's nothing
Yeah,
electric.
it's not
going to
replace a rake, but it might help with that final last little bit.
Well,
The broom's pretty sweet. So we did a multi-day job. What was that? That was a 3-day job. And making a bunch of noise, chippers, saws, everything all day long. and the neighbor right next to it, I think, came over toward the end to talk to Becca, and I don't know the exact story, but I feel like what happened was they're kind of talking about, it's been kind of noisy having you here the whole time, and Becca was using a broom. It's like I'm using the broom to kind of try to keep the noise down or whatever rather than using the blower. It came in clutch. You were there. I think you might know the story better than I did. Or was that it?
I just heard what Becca said.
Yeah.
Was the neighbor
I
happy
think
then?
that's pretty much it. Well, yeah, I mean,
Was the neighbor like, oh, thank
like,
you?
wow, you're putting in some work to like keep the noise down. Like, blowers suck. All noise sucks. I love turning the chipper off. That's my favorite thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Thing's done.
Well, listen to brrrr.
We could have like a whole day where it's just the sound of the tines of the rake going through
Yeah.
needles,
You
and
want-
maybe
go-
we're listening
go
to the
for it.
podcast
Yeah.
or like
Pole pruner snips, sookie cuts,
yeah.
See, so
if
that's
we don't
nice.
even bring the chipper, that's even better. I mean,
carabiner
if-
snaps. That's my favorite sound.
Ooh, aluminum on
Oh,
aluminum.
click,
Yeah.
click.
Oh,
Or maybe we could like listen to some music or
Yeah.
something. Like
I might start an ASMR
I know.
channel
I was just
of
saying, like, I
arborist
feel like this
noises.
is an ASMR thing we can do. This is a doable thing.
Yeah.
what's ASMR?
I think it stands for I'm gonna get it wrong. Autosomal somatic something response.
It's,
Oh, is that how people like whisper?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, or like
Yeah.
the they're like
whisper.
I
little
hate it
pictures
when
in
I
your
see those
hands.
videos. I'm like, ugh, but some people
it's because you
very
haven't
comforting.
gotten good ones.
No,
Okay.
I just think I'm not that. That's not me. It makes me uncomfortable.
Is it because they're just doing weird things? Like you're like, oh, I hate water sounds.
They're like,
That's what I don't like. Is
I
water
just- I
sound.
can't
I'm
stand
just
it.
like, oh great, now I have to pee.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
thanks.
what I'm kind
not
of
relaxed
thinking.
and I have to pee.
What I'm kind of thinking is you got to find the right one.
Yeah.
Like Jamie needs to find the aluminum carabiner
carabiner
clicking,
clicking.
or
Whatever that
You know what the problem
frequency
is?
yeah, or a rope kind of going over a branch
Like a-
as you're putting it in a bag.
not someone talking, like smacking.
I
their
don't
lips
like,
with a
no, I don't
fucking
like those
microphone.
ones. I don't where you can like hear them swallowing.
Ugh. I can't
No,
stand it.
no. Okay, no. Those
Joker,
ones.
do you like it?
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna say those ones are like not good ones either. If you ever want to hook up, I've got like 2 ASMR artists that I watch very frequently. They're very soothing, no liquids, and they don't do it fast.
All right.
No, I'm
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Next
No.
episode, I
No,
give my
no.
review.
So,
We're gonna-
so if anybody out there wants ASMR tips, send an email to treethinkingpodcast@gmail.com and
'Cause,
Lacey
yeah,
will set you
I
up.
will plug. It's like creams, like the.
Oh, jeez.
No, there are certain sounds. The minute I do it, I'm like, you've lost me forever. I don't care if you make 200 more videos. I can't. Not to judge, because some people like that.
I can't stand it.
No.
I wonder if we could just get like a big fur cracking the hinge wood
Oh, yeah.
on.
Just a pole, like super extended.
A rake.
I think a rake would be soothing. A rake, like over some nice,
Well,
like
right, that would be the next
plush-
4 hours.
That'd be the
would
next
be
4.
a rake.
Yeah.
That would be on repeat.
I might, Jamie, since he got this gear, I've been talking about there's some ASMR stuff I want to do.
Yeah.
And like you might add to, I have like 3 scenarios that I'm going to do. I'm
Okay.
not going to give any insight to them at all
Okay.
because I feel like they're actually original ideas. And if
Yeah.
I can pull them off, I think that'd be amazing. But we might have to
Scooping
add
mayonnaise.
this. No. While I'm talking, Rake. And you can.
Aggressively scooping it.
Potatoes, chips left, Lacey.
Oh, here's
Yeah.
the ASMR.
Here we go.
segment.
Yeah, crunching noises. Do it. Oh yeah, like that. Yep.
Just are crispy.
Tingly. No,
I feel so relaxed right now. This is weird.
the worst ones are when people want to do really fast stuff where they're like, there's the, we don't have good enough sound for it.
You have to.
Finger flutter?
Probably just have
No,
to
it's the finger
crack it.
flutter. Like you gotta get certain sound ones where they, but they'll be like, ching, 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 da, 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 and it's like fast, and I'm like, I'm just anxious now.
Yeah, we could just put the whole microphone in the
Yeah,
bag.
just,
Oh yeah. You guys like that?
you sleepy? Are you relaxed?
Yeah.
In
I don't get
closing,
it.
next one we might. I know.
But if you want to do like a skeptic
Yeah.
kind of like dynamic duo podcast where
should.
you do ASMR, and I'm just like, God damn it, Lacey, will you stop?
I'm gonna find your triggers, Jamie. I'm gonna find your fucking triggers. The ones that just give you that tingle down your spine. I'm gonna do it. I might have to have a private conversation with Joko about it as well, because she might be able to give me some good ideas. But I'm just saying, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. So she's like, he likes to be pet.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Carabiners.
we got here. Carabiners.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, ASMR. I
Raking.
never thought we'd hit ASMR on the podcast,
I'm
but
Yeah.
so glad we
yet
did.
here we are. You never know what's going to come up on a random episode.
Breaking new
Just-
ground.
I agree. As much of a rake guy as I am with the metal tines on needles or broadleaf, that aluminum on aluminum with the snap. Oh man, it's
Oh,
just-
yeah.
that's like
Yeah.
that's like Christmas in July.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whatever month you're doing it. It's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool. How we doing on time?
Well, I'm not sure exactly how much time we were away,
Yeah.
you know, and even if I did, there'd be some kind of math involved.
Well,
I'm guessing we're probably fine.
No, and I feel like
You
the
know, I
hello
mean,
plant keeps
whatever's-
bumping you to say goodbye.
We'd probably be.
Oh, what do
I'm
you guys
guessing
think
we're
of
at
my
about
mom's
an hour and
plant?
15.
She sent you guys a hello plant.
It's
Did you-
beautiful.
Yeah.
It's,
Say hello
it,
It's
to
keeps,
absolutely
it
gorgeous.
keeps hitting him in the back though, so it's like saying goodbye right now. Like
Mom,
you're
they
done.
like the plant. Keep 'em coming.
Yeah. So,
The
I-
meatloaf was good too. I had the mustard. What'd you guys have?
I had the ketchup.
Yeah, I should have went ketchup.
Yeah, ketchup with
Ketchup
a
is
little
always the way to
barbecue
go.
sauce.
Yeah.
Little barbecue sauce that you can dip it in. Also, you know, it's real deal. The hospitality here overall has been amazing. I
Well,
think.
I mean, don't expect it to be like this all the time. We just got here. It's like this big initial party thing.
Yeah.
Oh no,
But,
no worries.
We have a lot of contractors coming through. You guys are just three guys. I mean, you just take your turn.
Get in line. Get back in line. We've ridden the ride. Now we gotta wait to ride again.
I mean, you took the words right out of my mom's mouth. But yeah, I mean, thanks for being here. It really means a lot to me,
Oh,
and it's my dream come true. Like, this is the best night of my life, man.
yeah. No, the tree thinking from Jake's garage, and this might have to, or Jake's basement, and this might have to be a regular occurrence.
Yeah, it seems like there's a window back there. But
Yeah,
it's
so
definitely a
the whole
basement
basement thing
layer.
is,
Yeah.
yeah.
And there's a hole
Yeah.
that got dug.
Well,
There's a mirror
yeah,
and another mirror.
yeah.
There's an
Or maybe
excavator guy. The guy that, I
The
don't know. We got landscapers involved.
podcast in the garage, party in the basement.
Jamie hooked everything up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It all just made it happen.
It's been fun.
it's been awesome. So, yeah, I guess. I don't know if we're gonna do final thoughts because it's a random episode. Anybody have anything else we want to add before we get done?
I kind of got one that I've seen people do. Jamie showed me a video this week of some guy like throwing his saw.
Oh, dude,
blew
that
a
was
very little top out of a very little tree, but the guy like threw his chainsaw because it had a lanyard on it and it stuck. I don't know. Like I've seen some people without even lanyards on. They're just like, if it doesn't go with the top, then it goes with the top,
Yeah,
and I can let go of it. It won't be attached to me. I was wondering if you guys like a lanyard on your
Oh,
chainsaw,
yeah,
on
for
your
sure.
Yeah.
climbing saw, or
But
not?
I sent you that video too, right?
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I know that video.
Pretty small top, but as it goes over, I think everyone I know and climb with, that's like time to rack the saw. This dude just like hucked it behind
What?
him.
Well,
Just,
and
like,
his lanyard
that
was
went
long
for-
enough,
he
so
went
it
for
went.
distance.
That's
Yeah.
just how he does it every time.
Yeah.
And I keep watching it. I'll probably watch it when I get home a few more times.
Wait, so he like hucks the saw behind him?
Yeah, top goes over and he just like gets rid of it and holds onto the spar.
Looks like he throws it into space.
Yeah.
So is he doing it so he won't get like that catapulted, like so he can just
Nobody
hang on
knows.
to
knows.
what
No,
he's
nobody
on?
knows.
Yeah.
Nobody knows why.
He knows. But it looks like that's what he does every
And
time.
the saw blams into the fire, or the freaking trunk of the tree.
Yeah.
So
like,
the-
ruin the saw,
It's hitting. I was gonna say the saw's hitting it.
but way below him. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's on this big old
Here.
lanyard.
Okay, you're gonna show me
Yeah, we're gonna-
because
Yeah,
I'm-
Lacey's gonna watch it.
wow, that's
Well, and that saw keeps bouncing off the trunk. I
Oh
mean,
my gosh.
you know, he takes that saw and he freaking throws it, and it's on a lanyard that, you know, is the saw is down below his feet.
Maybe it's in the bid. He just puts a new saw
Yeah, I know,
in every job.
Throw saw or not. You know, here's the prices.
Yeah,
Oh, that's an extra $600.
yeah. If I gotta rack that saw, it's gonna cost you money.
Maybe it's like the employer's saw, so it's like, meh, not mine,
Yeah,
not my stuff.
maybe.
That would
That's
make
wild.
the most sense.
But does it say in there that he does it every time, or you just?
Well, it looks like. I mean, it looks like
looks
that
like a
was
common
It didn't look
practice.
like panic. It looked like
Like
this is
intentional.
calculated.
Yeah, it
This
does.
is what I do
Like, oh, here it goes.
every time. Yeah,
And I chuck this.
yeah.
I feel like someone
Yeah.
should just DM him, like, be like, hey, question mark.
Oh, the
Is
comments
this your
were
standard
like,
of?
that saw
Are people?
toss.
Does anyone
Yeah.
like? Do you do this all the time? Is this your thing?
So that guy aside, do you use a lanyard?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
use the lanyard.
yeah.
Yes.
Now, there's times where I've taken the lanyard off if it's a big old chunk, and you know I'm worried that it could pinch or something, you know, and
Like a crane job or what?
you know I'm not thinking of a specific job, but I'm thinking of
A
like
piece
when,
bigger
yeah,
than 100 pounds. or
yeah,
something.
like a big old piece that you're gonna push over, and it could take your saw with you, you know, because I've had it grab and pull the shit out of me before.
Yeah,
And
and I
so-
see it happen when you like
Totally.
cut through holding wood or something. Is when the saw kind of goes.
Yeah, like when you undercut and then overcut and it kind of pinches over and like grabs the teeth
Yeah.
is I think when it happens most. And I've taken my lanyard off in that situation. It's not very often.
Yeah.
You know, I'm probably thinking of like 2 or 3 times where I've done it, but you know the thing is I also think of it.
Those are big old hogs.
Yeah, those are big old chunks, and I'm more thinking of quite a while ago because nowadays they make the lanyards break away at a certain weight, so it's
And
not.
that's fantastic.
Yeah,
That's where we want to be at.
You know, with a breakaway lanyard, I don't think twice about it, and so now that we're talking about it, I'm thinking about it. You know, it's probably before I really understood the rating on the lanyard, and you know, because if it's a breakaway at 300 pounds or whatever it is, you're sending a big old piece. If it's that big, it's gonna break your lanyard, and if it, you know,
Yeah. You know what would be a total rock star move, just as my opinion as a raker, like looking up, is if someone like took a top out of something and just like took whatever saw they were cutting with, even if it's their freaking Zubot, just like chucked it into oblivion. The thing's going, you just watch it go.
Just-
And like, total mic drop. Like,
yeah,
done with it.
yeah.
This removal was 5,000.
I'm getting a new saw.
Yeah.
No, someone else is going to have to finish this out because I'm going to come down now.
Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah, I'm done.
another thing that I've
I'm
done
actually fired.
is I've taken the saw and attached it to a strap around the trunk before,
Nice.
so that if it
Oh,
went, I
interesting.
could let go of it and it wasn't going to be on my weight.
Oh,
So that's another thing that I think what I did is put a strap around the trunk and then just took the lanyard off of my hip and put it on that strap.
Oh, it's very interesting.
So that's
Yeah,
another
that's cool.
another way you can do
And
it.
you're still letting it just kind of fall, though. You're not going like to the earth with you, saw. Like
Yeah,
you're
it's
gonna
not
let
like
go.
common practice. Like everything's gone smooth as can be, and I'm just gonna chuck this thing.
But then maybe that he was having a bad day. Like maybe that's not his common practice. Maybe he was just like, man, you know what? And then just chucked it for something like completely unrelated. Like he just had a thought. that
Yeah,
had
benefit
nothing
of
to
the
do.
doubt. Wasp
Yeah.
swarm.
Something.
Yeah,
Yeah, like we
but-
just can't see.
But to
that,
me, it
you
looked
know.
like that's how he takes tops.
Yeah, he looked comfortable.
Yeah.
Like he didn't look stressed out from the view I could see. But I would always like to think it's something weird like that, where it's like they just happened to catch him. But it's weird to also film someone.
From
at
the
that
video,
exact
Oh, sweet.
I think everybody should see this video.
It goes
It's a
down to the
very
ground
small
guy and he
tree.
gives up the like hell yeah,
Oh.
everything went well. Like this is sick.
It's a
Yeah.
tiny little turd of a tree.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
It's not necessary.
But maybe
No.
that's his first tree that he's taken down. Like even with that hashtag name,
We don't know.
we don't know
like
the
everything
backstory
that went
now.
into
It's
it.
his first thing, and that's what he did.
Yeah.
He's just like
He
built
was
for
like,
greatness, and this is just his
Yeah.
first level.
Yeah.
Oh, wow,
Saw tricks.
This is why it's good not to judge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always like the backstories. This go when people be like, "Oh, this person survived X, Y, Z."
Do you think?
And then I'm like,
we
but
could get this
really?
guy on the pod?
I bet
We
you
should-
could.
Yeah. Hopefully, like
Search
this
him out.
gets around and we'll figure
I
out.
know.
Yeah.
Get back to him and be like,
So if you chuck your saw when you send the top,
Give us.
yeah, reach out. We
Let us
want to.
know.
We want to know why.
Or if
Why?
you know what video I'm talking about and know that person or know
gotta-
someone who knows that person, whatever, like reach out.
Yeah, make a. You guys have the technology to make a link, right?
Yeah.
All I get is like my Walkman, and like I think my mom would be really happy to know if like more people that could come in here to do this pod, the better. That's why we moved here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to have the salt chucker guy on,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
freaking sick.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a bumper sticker, like waiting to be made.
Yeah.
Like, do you chuck? To chuck or not chuck?
Yeah.
I did a podcast with the salt. This car did a podcast. Listen
With
to
the
the
salt
podcast
chucker.
on the AM FM radio. With the salt chucker guy.
How much wood would a woodchuck chuck?
This is that saw toss, bro.
No, it's but now I'm curious. Obviously,
Yeah.
now I want to know
Yeah.
what all goes into it, but that's pretty
Cool.
epic.
Well, I'm working with you tomorrow. I'll throw the saw.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just film it, and I'll be
Yeah.
like, "How did that make you feel?"
Every
And you were
cut.
like, "It was very ASMR-y to me at that moment. Like it was soothing. I got the tingle down my spine. I kind of want to take a nap.
Yeah.
I'm chucking my saw again.
Perfect. Yeah.
Boom.
So I hope your outro is some ASMR.
I can't do
Boy,
that.
I've seen someone chuck a rake before, and that goes right down my spine.
Oh.
You hear it goes like
Oh yeah.
afterwards, like,
Tines.
and I feel so bad for each time.
The rake is like, why me?
All right. Well,
Final thoughts. There we go.
final thoughts. That's some hell of a final thoughts.
Yeah,
Little
yeah.
ASMR, a little saw chucking. So I guess with that, we'll say stay safe. And yeah, just chuck it.
Yeah, there you go.